Good morning from not my house. I am actually in Maui, Hawaii right now. Um, and I thought it would be a good time to check in and update the vlog. I look tired as hell. It's because it's like 7 a.m. here. But I have to like pack and get ready to go. It's our last day. And I'm kind of just like taking in everything. So yeah, graduation happened. That was surreal, and it went by super fast. It was a blur, kind of like the last 2 years. Where, if I'm being honest, I'm kind of like, how did I get to this point already? Like, wait, what? And at the same time, I'm like happy it's over. Like, I made it. You know, I didn't die. Not really. Parts of ourselves did. They needed to. But yeah, I'm just kind of worried for like what's gonna happen when I go back home. Um, as far as like finding a job, and it's not really about finding a job because like obviously, you know, as Mary loves to say, you have a degree from USC. Like, you're not gonna be unemployed. It's not about that. It's about like, you know, to update you because it's been since like January, actually, November. These bags under my eyes are so gnarly. I'm so sorry. I just can't like stop looking at them. Where was I going with this? Oh yeah. So prac has been going pretty good. I got up, I think last we checked, I got up to like my 10. I have like 11 actually on my caseload. And, you know, I don't know if I had updated you at this time, but I ended up getting a client diagnosed with cancer. I didn't because you weren't there yet. You're right. This happened during spring semester. So my clinical manager like checked in with me like, hey, you know, how do we feel about this? And I was like, I think it's time for me to like stop being avoidant of like my dad's stuff. But not necessarily avoid it, because I don't think I've definitely gotten past the like denial, most of the denial, because sometimes it like pops up, as we know, grief. I just feel like there's also a part of me that's like cancer. So 65-year-old Latina woman who has bone cancer. This is her second go about with cancer because she had breast cancer in 2017. And our relationship has been very equally healing. I would love to say more about that. You know, why don't I just say more about that? I'm like worried about time, but I'm on island time, and I have nothing but time now, besides prac because I'm there till August. But anyway, yeah, I think the biggest thing for me, like with my dad and with this client that I was scared about, is like I am so scared that one day with my dad, like I'm gonna get the call from his wife and it's gonna be like he's in the hospital, like things are not looking good, that kind of call. Or and then with the client, it came out and like I don't want my client to die while I'm seeing them, because bone cancer is like the worst cancer. Has the least survival rate, and that's always like a fear of mine. But it hasn't been that. One time, like, she didn't show up and like hadn't called, and of course, like I kind of freaked out. But I was like, it's fine. She gave me her husband's phone number. I called him. He didn't answer. And I'm like, she probably has an appointment today, and like, you know, it slipped her mind. So, that was that. And I'm taking it one step at a time. Same with my dad. who was doing great, by the way. So that happened. I've grown to really love family work. I love family work. I wish I could keep doing that more. What else? Oh, I started seeing a couple. That was a wild ride. I remember thinking going into this program that I don't want to work with couples. I was very much still healing from my divorce and on my men ain't shit tip. And now that's not the case. I have moved towards men need healing. So I'm all about male healing. And yeah, the couple was really interesting because I've been in couples therapy before. So I know what it's like to be on the other side. And that couple definitely, there were some counter transfers there where like I saw parts of like me and my ex-husband and like them. It was really something. They ended up breaking up 2 weeks ago. I wasn't entirely surprised, but I was also like super hopeful that we would get through it. And I was kind of, it's interesting about couples work, or I don't know, maybe I'm doing it wrong, but like being in the room, sometimes like, especially when they fight, mostly when they fight, I'm like, oh shit, like we're in this, but also like I know that I'm outside, and it's really interesting. It makes me weirdly excited to be in a relationship again, because now I know how like I really need, like, there's really a choice that you make when, you get into an argument with your partner. And I think before, it was like, I definitely was like, I need to be understood. That's it. And that's not the way I see things anymore. And it's interesting to, like, look back on fights I've had and be like, that kept going because I was just trying to be understood. And, like, I don't know. It's changed my perspective, like a lot of things have this year. So, yeah, couple, they came and they went, but it was a lot there. And it was cool because here's time for my not humble brag. The first session, you do your spiel, whatever, and at the end, oh shoot, my arm should not be at the sun. At the end, the female partner was like, I know you said you're not licensed, but like this was really good and I totally think you should be licensed. I was like, yes. But also, like, I have a lot of growing to do. But that was really cool. Because they had been to couples therapy before once and it wasn't a good time. And I remember when I terminated with her, we had the final call to like, hey, this is what's gonna happen. Because at Kaiser, we get to see one person still. We get to see both of them, obviously. And I decided to see the male because as much as like, my inclination would be stick with the female partner, I think he needed more support. And I'm like, if I'm really gonna be about this male healing, then we gotta do the work. So I'm excited for that. Gotta set his appointment up when I get back. What else? Oh yeah, so back to the call. She had told me, like, I feel like if my first experience with therapy would have been with someone like you, my life would have been completely different. And that was really reassuring and reaffirming to hear. Because we learn it, but it's something else to like hear and know that like the experience with the therapist will just completely be the deciding factor in what one thinks about therapy and feels about therapy, and doing the work, right? So that was cool. What else do we got? the client I presented on holds a special place in my heart. She's my first client. I'm sad to terminate. And something I realized, I think it was the last time I left Mary's office, actually, the beginning of May, was that I am not good with endings. Surprise, surprise. And leaving the center is going to be really hard for me. Like, probably harder than graduation was. Graduation was a blur. Like, I didn't cry. It was just a fucking blur. You know what I liked? Being here, actually. I don't know if you've been to Maui, but there is this popular little attraction, part of the island, called Hana. And the road to Hana is like this long ass drive with like 600 turns and 50 like bridges. And it's a whole thing. And it takes like a whole day to drive it, and then you get to Hana, the town. And the thing about the road to Hana and Hana is that it's not about the destination, it's about the journey. And that's what the last 2 years have been. And this last semester was really about it was about the journey the whole time. It was about the people that I met. It was about the people I didn't meet. It was about the interactions I had. It was about dynamics. It was about, not so great interactions, not great dynamics. The conflict. The healthy conflict. The hard conversations. The choice to not have hard conversations. Faculty. My peers, friendships, that was it. That was growth. And to me, that was obviously degree and learning aside, because the curriculum, great. Training, great. I feel prepared. Besides the stuff I need to work on, like my time management and other things. But for me, the whole point of the program was the growth. Because who you are as a human is not mutually exclusive with you as a clinician. That's just not. Yeah, man. Self-therapist stuff is just amazing, and I think it should be pushed more in our program. I actually brought it up. We had a little check-in meeting at Prague where we kind of were what are we missing? What could we do better at? And I brought up self-therapist, and tell me why this program clinical manager was what's that? And even the other interns were kind of vaguely oh yeah, therapist to self, but weren't really sure. Oh my god, I have the hiccups. It's so annoying. And it brought up a whole conversation, and I got to explain what it was. And yeah, it was just pretty cool. I channeled my inner you, for sure. Oh, my hand is hurting. By the way, I got a tattoo yesterday. I think you would like it. I got this tattoo because, I used to think that tattoos were dumb, and then I changed my mind about that. I, reframed my thinking, and so if I'm gonna get a tattoo, I'm it has to be something meaningful. And I'm currently on my 4th, so I have my first one here, which is the Virgo sign, because we're all about astrology. It's also an M, and I got to design that, and it's in roots. Because I just felt very connected to myself when I got this. And then I have my second one that's on my foot. It's number 23 because angel numbers. And then I have this one on my arm. Suddenly this turned into a real vlog. And it says, stay for the storm. And I got this last spring break when I went to go see my dad in Oregon. And I stood under this waterfall, this major waterfall. I could feel it, and I remember people kept coming in to the waterfall, but they like turned back because the pressure was just like intense. And I remember I just kind of stood there and like sat in it, and it was intense and it kind of felt really scary. But if it's one thing I learned about myself, is like I will stay for the storm when shit gets scary, because after the storm clarity comes. And then like the other meaning to that too was like I'm a stormy person, and there's a lot of beauty here, so you should stay for the storm, because it was like, oh, you know, it's kind of a both and situation, which brings me to my latest tattoo. Okay, wait, hold on. That wasn't as cool as I thought it was gonna look. I don't know if you can see that, but it says both and with my leaves, because we always got to keep the nature going. Yeah, if there's one summative response that I had, it's both and. Like, I learned a lot about myself. A lot. I've been challenged and I have elevated, and I have evolved, and I am learning. I'm still growing, and I came in, you know, feeling one type of way about myself, and you know that person exists for sure. Brianna had mentioned to me, not Brianna actually, Michael Ballesteros, who actually, remember when I had first brought him up and Tanya and I were like, who is this kid? He needs to stay in his lane. That has completely shifted. We're like friends now. I think he's like a really amazing individual. But that's a story for another time. The point is, he told me that he was having this conversation with Dr. Briano, and he said, like, you know, there are two sides to Madeline. There's like the one that everyone sees, and there's the one that those close to her see. And it's true. It's really true. I feel like I've often gotten this like, I thought you were mean when I met you, or like, I thought you were a bitch. And then it turns out like I'm one of the kindest people you'll meet, and I'm really cool. I can be a bitch, but who isn't? I can be both. It doesn't have to be one, because I'm multifaceted. Human beings are multifaceted. I think that's what this is all about, is like, there is no one experience. Everyone has a different experience. So yeah, this is kind of my like dedication to growth and to this program, because it really has just meant a lot to me, and I know that I'm exactly where I need to be, and it's just crazy how the universe works. Like, I was ready to be here, because if I was in this program 3 years ago, 5 years ago, I'd be leaking, and just things wouldn't hit the same. So, yeah, here I am. And I will see you soon. Like and subscribe. By the way, I really wanted to get that tattooed on me, that tree. They're called monkey pods, and I love trees, so that'll be my next one. But like, that's totally me right there. Love you, miss you. Like and subscribe.